Hi, my name's Amar and my mother has 3 husbands. That's what I'm gonna tell you about. I'm 15 years old now, and up to a certain point I didn't question anything about my family. I just liked it the way it was. We all lived together. Me, my grandma, my mom, brothers, sisters, and my 3 fathers. Nobody gave it a second thought, as everyone I knew had similarly large families. Grandma preferred to spend her time raising the children, and mom had to toil in the kitchen to feed our big family. We played in the yard and hang out with other kids sometimes. We made up all kinds of games and activities. Days passed quickly, especially during summer vacations. Of course, we also helped at home. We weeded the garden, cleaned the house, and took care of our younger siblings. When our fathers came home in the evening, we met them at the gate. It felt like a celebration every time we gathered at the table and listened to the adults talking about their day, discussing important matters, and planning errands for the next day. As I got older, I realized my family was very different from many of my classmates. Some of my friends only had one father and his parents lived separately. I got curious and asked Mom, why does her family have many children and multiple fathers? Mom avoided the question for a long time, but one day after receiving a letter from her family, she felt sad and delved into the memories of her youth. The nostalgia made her tell me her story after all. She was born in a family with just one father. She was the first child of 2. So, I had an uncle, but I had only met him once when he came to visit our country. Anyway, Mom was an outstanding student at school and she used to dream of becoming a journalist. She successfully enrolled at the Department of Journalism at the university. There were many students from different countries, including my father, the oldest of my fathers. He and my mom fell in love. Mom told me they couldn't even spend a day apart. During vacations, they'd call each other and write letters. When they graduated, my father invited her to the faraway country of India. Mom hesitated for a long time, but love was stronger than her fears, and she agreed. Her parents objected, but if they knew the ways of our ancestors, I think they wouldn't let their daughter go at all. At the airport, the newlyweds were greeted by the groom's parents and brothers. They were clearly checking out my mom. She felt embarrassed by their attention. It's certainly not customary to stare at your brother's bride like that in other countries. They named the wedding day. The bride's parents came to attend it. The marriage celebration went amazing. They sang folk songs and the guests were brightly dressed. That was the night my mom first wore a colorful sari. Mom loved India because the man she loved was next to her. Of course, she mostly wears a sari for festivities and sticks to European clothes normally. Grandma didn't mind. She liked her new daughter-in-law and everything she did. Mom respected the views of her new relative, so she doesn't wear sleeveless shirts and keeps her legs covered. Her usual garments are a kurta. It's a kind of tunic with jeans or leggings. My mom looks beautiful in any clothes. She's just like a real Indian, with only a hint of European. Her first disappointment happened when the brother of her ostensibly lawful husband came into her bedroom. Mom stormed out of the room indignantly. But to her further indignation, the older brother, who she thought of as her husband, was waiting outside. He quietly put an arm around her and took her back to the bedroom. He promised he'd explain everything tomorrow. She didn't tell me what her thoughts were at the time, but she started packing her things in the morning. Grandma saw her packing and crying, and she started talking to her. Mom's mother-in-law is a very wise woman. She managed to convince Mom that this was just the way things were done in her family. Grandma herself used to have 3 husbands. Her current husband was the youngest one, and the other 2 had already passed away. The 3 brothers all joined the conversation, and together they persuaded Mom to stay. Her new life certainly felt unfamiliar. Eventually, she got over it, and the hardships of childbearing cleared her mind completely. As the brothers matured, they looked a lot like each other, and all of them absolutely adored Mom. We, the children, were happy in this wholesome environment. After I talked to Mom, I went to talk to Grandma as well. She explained how this tradition came to be here in southern India. To keep hard-earned assets in the family, all sons collectively married one girl who bore everyone's children. This is why these families tend to have at least 10 kids. The men didn't mind which baby's whose. They treated all children equally. If one husband had to go away for a while, the others took his place. They all served as fathers and husbands and breadwinners. This is why my father could afford to go study abroad and I can afford to go to a good school. We're fairly well off and our family considered successful. Another thing Grandma said, if a husband falls out of his wife's favor, then it's his own fault and his responsibility to win his wife's love. If he fails, the grandmother has to intervene and ask the wife to be more lenient towards her son. Now I understand why there are different slippers next to my mom's door every night. All this talk brought me peace of mind. I knew how our life worked now. I have 5 brothers, and I didn't dare ask Grandma if we are all to share one wife. Mom is expecting a baby right now, and it's a welcome addition to the family. But I can't help but wonder if there's gonna be 7 of us married to one poor woman. I'm kidding, of course. Time shall tell. Right now, I'm happily surrounded by my loved ones who care about me. Having 3 fathers is not that bad if you ask me. My dream, however, is to be the only husband for my 5 loving wives. Do you guys want more episodes? Then press the like button, subscribe, and hit the bell. Want to see your own story? Then send them over to this email here.